Peace, 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 everyone. You already know who this is. It's your brother, man, from the motherland, coming to you guys live from the NY. Back with another one. For those that don't know, I am Jooms, the Honorable Jooms. Not a Bantu or a Jew, but an El Kebule kidnap that is ready for the get back. And welcome to another live of the ROD podcast. I wish I was by my desk. I would have gave you guys a round of applause. You feel me? We are live. So as I'm getting ready to make my way downtown, I decided to do this live and have a conversation with y'all. And you know, I told you guys Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I come outside. Um, Yesterday, my Wiz sent me something that was, heartbreaking. Um, I seen a mother walking with her children and literally got jumped. Yes, got jumped by a group of teens. Like young teens. We talking like 13, 14. You feel me? And they got jumped. Hold on a minute. Yeah, my apologies, man. I was on the phone with my supervisor. He wanted to reach out and just say thank you for, you know what I'm saying? We had a conversation and, it just, it rubbed him the right way, pause. So he just wanted to reach out and say, I appreciate for what you said, the kind words. Like I tell you guys, man, I'm a certified life coach, bro. I don't, the things that I talk about is real life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really, like my main purpose in life was to always help and give back. You know what I'm saying? Like even if I won $1 million, the objective is to give back. Is to make sure that somebody else has an opportunity to win $1 million or get $1 million. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. And it's supposed to be free. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be, I know they say time is money, but sometimes you got to put the money aside and do what's necessary for brothers and sisters, because everybody is going through what they're going through. Everybody got their trials and tribulations. Everybody got their frustration. Everybody's dealing with some level of mental illness. Just because you're not diagnosed with it doesn't mean you're not dealing with it. You just know how to cope with it better than others. You feel me? And you able to hide it. But in reality, we all dealing with something. There's always some level of trauma that we're dealing with. You understand, where you get frustrated, you get angry, you know what I'm saying, you lash out, you know what I'm saying, and people crashing out now, you know what I'm saying. It's just one of those type of sceneries. But at the end of the day, the goal is to always stay positive. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay positive, especially if you got children. You know what I'm saying? Your children can never see you weak. Your children can never see you fall. Your children should never see you cry. You gotta always hold down the fork. You know what I'm saying? Because for me as a black man, the first thing that runs into my mind is my ancestors. It's like, oh, they had to endure 10 times worse situations than what we dealing with. We over here complaining because we got to do an extra hour. We over here complaining because we got to lift for extra 50, a 50-pound box. We complain about these things, but in reality, our ancestors dealt with far worse. You know what I'm saying? They had to deal with the harsh reality of not being able to leave, not being able to move, not being able to travel, not being able to be with their loved ones, or watching their children get taken away, and all of the nonsense that you can imagine. You know what I'm saying? Our people had to literally watch these things. So for us, for me, being in the position that I'm in, I'm always here to just give that level of acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, guys, you are great. You are special. You every single one of us have a purpose. We just got to stop allowing these people to navigate your purpose. You understand? Not everybody was made to be a rapper. Not everybody was made to be a basketball player. Not everybody was made to be a hustler. Not everybody was created to do these things. You understand? And when you put that in your forefront, like, yeah, I'm going to rap, or yeah, I'm going to sell drugs, or yeah, I'm going to be an actor, yeah, I'm going to be a basketball player, and shit don't hit the fan, it creates a level of depression where it makes brothers and sisters no longer want to engage in society, right? They take the back seat. They take, oh, well, I didn't make it in basketball, so F life. I don't care about nothing. I'm just gonna drink, I'm gonna smoke, I'm a party, I'm a BS, I'm just gonna do me. You understand? And these are the things that we have to address. We have to address these things. You get? And I'm saying all of that because it ties in with the things that with the title of today's live. You know what I'm saying? That we are raising badass children, bro. We're not raising the children the way that we supposed to be raising them. These children are not being literally guided accordingly. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching parents, start their grand rising off listening to toxic music. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm watching them listening to foolish things on the radio, and then their child has to listen to that energy. And it's like, bro, we shouldn't be giving these children that. You know what I'm saying? Like, these children should be having some level of clarity. You know what I'm saying? These children should be listening to peaceful sound, peaceful noise. You know what I mean? I remember my man's called me. He was like, yo, bro, you like, yo, you in the car? I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, bro, it's quiet. I said, yeah, it's supposed to be, bro. You're not supposed to awaken into this earth you know what I'm saying, you have another day to get right, and the first thing that you want to do is put on loud noise. Like, nah, that messes with your frequency, your triggers. You know what I'm saying? It messes with the triggers in your mind, and then before you know it, you out here doing X, Y, and Z. So nah, you know what I mean? Like, we not here to do that. You know, the goal is to have peace, prepare yourself mentally, physically for what today's world has to offer. We don't know what's gonna happen in the next hour or so, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. You don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. But the goal is to always be prepared mentally first, then be prepared spiritually. Then you project that physically. You understand? You have all of these things has to fall in line in order for you to process and move in a positive state for the next day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come on here to give you guys this understanding because at the end of the day, we need that. Not everybody can afford psychological assessments. These things is hundreds and thousands of dollars. Who got hundreds and thousands of dollars with the condition of this world, with the climate of the world right now? Who can afford that? You know, people will put their mental illness, their mental trauma, their mental disgust, mental fatigue. People will put that aside for the greater good of whatever, whether it's, you know, feeding their children or having to pay these bills so the lights can stay on. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have an outlet. And anybody that provides the outlet, you know, it's a fee. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not here to knock people's hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z said, can't knock the hustle. But sometimes, depending on the climate, right? Depending on the population, sometimes you gotta put that money to the side. Money is never the end all be all. If you're doing this for money, if you're doing this for financial gain and be in financial position, you will fail. Because the universe don't operate with money. Money was a tool created by the handlers to keep, you know, individuals like ourselves under their control, under their web, under their world wide web. You understand? So if you come into this space thinking that you're going to do a service for people in need and you want a finance or you want a reward of money behind it, you're in the wrong gig. That's why when I see individuals come on these social medias talking about, I'm going to help you fix your credit, or I'm going to help you call the Federal Reserve and get your money. I'm like, if you're going to help them do that, then why would you want to charge me to do that? Wouldn't you want me to gain access to that? And after I gain access, we sign a contract or something. And after you gain access to that, after you get the done, then, you know, all right, I helped you get $1 million. Now, out of that $1 million, I want 2%, 1%, 0%, whatever the percentage is. I want that percentage. Send that. We're not sending that. You understand? We're definitely not sending that. In fact, what we're doing is we're like, yeah, you're gonna get that. It's a hit or miss, because that's what these brothers is teaching, man. They're teaching us this hit or miss ideology. It's a hit or miss. At the end of the day, bro, it's a hit or miss. You know what I'm saying? The credit score shit's a hit or miss. You understand? The solvent citizen, whatever you want to call it, it's a hit or miss. These things is not factual. These things are not guaranteed. But yet you charge brothers and sisters top dollars for this service, and it's absurd. You know what I'm saying? And I say this all the time, like, yo, bro, this shit is absurd. There's no way on God's green earth should you be charging me something and you're telling me that this is, you know, this is free. This is gonna get done. This is how it gets done. This is what you gotta do. All right, cool. If this is what I gotta do, then I appreciate that. So let's sign a contract where if everything goes well, you get your PC, whatever you're charging, whatever is on that contract for us to do is what you do. But these people don't do that. You understand? So for me, just being a life coach, you know, my job is to help the people. You understand? This is why I got to do other gigs and other jobs, because I know I'm entering a population of the have-nots. I know I'm entering the population with people that does not have the financial resources or don't even have the to pay for a life coaching session. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? And now that we got this new president, they're cutting back on all these on all these Medicaids and anything that's gonna help the community. They calling it cutbacks, right? So these cutbacks is real. You feel me? These cutbacks is real. But in reality, guys, we raising badass children, man. And we as caregivers, mothers, fathers, you know what I'm saying, supporters, we I'm about to head back to the social service field. She said, why? I said, because the community needs me. Look at the condition of these children. Look at the condition of our women. Look at the condition of our men. It seems like nobody is standing up and talking to them accordingly. Like, nah, bro, you can't do that. Nah, fam, you gotta move like this. Nah, homie, you gotta do that. You understand? There's no accountability. Everybody is just literally walking with their heads to the sky like shit ain't going on. And that's an issue. That's a major issue, actually. Big problem. You feel me? Big problem. And we gotta address that. And if we don't address it, shit is only gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying? We watching adolescent teens jumping a mother and her children, bro. And they're bullying the children. The mother gonna do what a mother swung. Listen, they jumped that woman so bad they knocked the wig off her head. You feel me? And again, I'm not here to promote the violence. I was gonna talk about it yesterday, but I know how Instagram and I know how YouTube is. You know what I'm saying? When you put stuff like that, especially the endangerment of children, you know what I'm saying, you get flagged for that shit, boy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of being flagged. Like, I'm trying to get my plaque. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got over 100,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get my plaque. And no, I didn't buy nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is genuinely people that subscribe. You know what I mean? I want my plaque. I really want my plaque. I want my plaque. I want to be able to put it on my wall and show people that I am him. Because in reality, guys, I am him. You know, this is not me. It's not me tooting my own horn. I am him. You know what I mean? You know, thanks to the ancestors and the creators, I have received a lot of knowledge and wisdom through my 40 years on this earth. You know what I'm saying? I am him. I am him. And my job for being him is to always give back. Never look at my people like I'm better. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not better. We are all in financial circumstances. Whatever you're witnessing, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're dealing with, just know I'm dealing with that shit too. Whatever you guys are dealing with, I want you guys to know that I'm dealing with that shit too. I'm dealing with it too. And not only how many minutes? As soon as I cross over this light right here, I'm clocking in. You know where I'm clocking in from now. Left that. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with the same nonsense too, you know? And for me, the goal is to always stay 10 toes down, you know. Like I said, we raising badass children, and we are the children's first role models. So we raising badass children, that means we have become badass people. You understand? We have become inhumane individuals. If you get a kick out of, you know, being violent, or getting a kick out of violent music, of unaliving, you are an inhumane person. This is facts. If you get a kick out of that, you are inhumane. You have been overtaken by the ideologies and the philosophies of Socrates. This is facts. This is not Junes making stuff up. This is the honest facts. You have become inhumane, and we have become inhumane. We get a thrill out of disrespecting women. We get a thrill out of disrespecting children. We get a thrill out of disrespecting ourselves. We get a thrill out of that. We have become inhumane, and and it shows by what our children is doing. You get what I'm saying? It shows by what our children is doing. Right? The behaviors of our children. Again, our children are not operating in a state of love. They're not operating in a state of understanding. They're not operating in a state of reasoning. You know what I'm saying? Like, these children don't know none of that. Only thing these children know is shoot them up, bang, bang, sell drugs, do drugs, pop pills. You understand? Because this is what they're exposed to. They're exposed to this. They're exposed to this madness. You understand? And you understand? They're exposed to this madness, and we're not doing the necessary things to break them out of it. You know what I'm saying? We're not educating our children no more. We're allowing social media, we're allowing music, we're allowing television, and now we're allowing AI, these smartphones, to raise our children. I told you guys the worst thing that was ever given to humanity was these phones, because these phones was called smartphones. If you have a smartphone in your hands, then psychologically you believe that you don't need to be smart, because why do I need to be smart? Why do I need to know these things? Why do I need to read? Why do I need to write? Why do I need to do anything when I have a smartphone that can do all of that for me? So if you have a, what's up, my guy? So when you have a smartphone, it literally programs you to be, unintelligent. Like, oh, I don't got to do this. I'm good. I don't need to learn this. I remember being young. We had to, one of the curriculums in school was you had to know the encyclopedia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember like it was yesterday that we had to know our 8, 9, 12, 16, 18, 19, and was another timetables. We had to literally know these timetables from front to back, like literally. I mean, now that I'm older, I forgot, but I remember having to be in school, and I was phenomenal in math. You know what I'm saying? When I was in college, I breezed through math. When I was in high school, I breezed through math. Everybody struggled with math. I never struggled with math. Math was easy once you knew the foundation. Life is easy once you know the foundation. Everything is easy once you know the foundation. Once you pick up on that foundation, and you're like, oh, this is the foundation? This is the set product? All right, so let me operate and navigate around this product. Everything becomes easy. If anybody knows me, I used to go to school, and even in college, I used to go to school never writing notes, never having a book, and my GPA in college was a 3.8. The reason why I was in a 4.0 was because of this, we'll call it what it is, this Jewish European that just didn't like the fact that I was just disintelligent. He just didn't like that. And it showed, because I used to be like, yo, look, Teach, I got like 5 other projects to do. I got you. I'm gonna knock this out and I'm gonna take care of you. The guy said, sure, no problem. Test, when it was marking period, my son gave me a D, bro. Even after we spoke, and I said, yo, listen, I'm gonna give you everything. I'm just, like I said, I'm on the verge of being valedictorian, all of that, bro. Me. And then not to mention my aura. I was going to school like this. You know what I'm saying? Like I was not no preppy. I was not no wearing glasses. I was coming in there, True Religion's on, Tim Boots on, Vancing on. You know what I'm saying? Like I represented the streets, bro. And it couldn't register to these people. They couldn't understand how is somebody like me and dress the way that I'm dressing, but have the mental paralysis like I did, bro. They really couldn't understand that. I tell you, I had to do a psychological presentation called PTSD, post-traumatic slave syndrome. I did a whole presentation. We had to do a presentation. They said, find a mental illness, that put it together, give the presentation, and that is 50% of your grade. Everybody took schizophrenia, everybody took something. I'm the only one that said, nah, I'm gonna talk about post-traumatic slave syndrome. And it's a legalized syndrome, bro. It is. And when I gave that presentation, when I tell you that these people mouths dropped because they just couldn't believe, like, what the heck am I witnessing here? They could not believe that this man who's from the so-called hood has this understanding. Listen, it was so shocking. It was like a culture shock. And when they seen that, if I'm lying, I'm flying, may the ancestors crash me out. The man wanted me to come to his college, Hunter College here in New York City. He was like, yo, listen, I want you to come to college. Come to my school. You won't have to pay a dime. I promise you. And I turned down that offer. He also wanted me to give a presentation to the top psychologists in New York City. I turned down that invitation. Why did I turn down that invitation? The reason why I turned down that invitation, because I didn't want to be these people's guinea pig. Because one thing that you need to know, when you stand in front of those people in those positions, they're not there to be amazed and learn. They are trying to figure you out psychologically. Remember, I am being invited to be in a facility full of top psychologists in America, mainly in New York. So I knew what this was. I knew what the agenda was. You understand? And my ancestors and my soul said, nah, you're not supposed to do that. Don't go in there. Don't even proceed to do that. Why? Because you know what's gonna happen. Now that I sit back, maybe I should have, because there's a lot of doors that I wish I could walk into. You understand? It's a lot of doors that I knew that if I had those connections, I would be able to get in there. Like, I want to get into politics. I do. I really do. I want to get into politics because I feel like nobody is representing us the way they're supposed to. And I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash. And I spoke to a wise man, and the wise man said, listen, you want to do politics? You could do that. But just know, you gotta comply. You can't just come in there just rah. I'm a full-fledged renegade. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say that. I'm not. Nah, they're not gonna even waste their time with you. They're not even gonna allow you to go through their doors. They're not gonna even allow you to do nothing, actually. And I was like, damn. He was like, yeah. He was like, you gotta show some level of loyalty. You gotta build some level of trust. After you gain that trust, after you be able to go through the front door, don't just, oh yeah, I'm inside now, and start acting a fool. Nah, you want to get to the front door. You want to be able to get to the elevator. You want to then, from the elevator, you want to then be able to elevate and go to another floor. And right until you reach the floor where you need to reach. And once you reach that floor, then you do what you got to do. But just know, and this is coming from an OG. Shout out to the OG, man. He said, just know that if it doesn't in line with what they want, they will take you out. They will take you out. We talking JFK style. They will take you out. So, and another thing that he said, always remember the very people that you're trying to protect and trying to, elevate and build and provide resources for. These same people will switch on you in a heartbeat. And when he said that, I shook my head like, damn, he right. But at the same time, I can't let that be the reason into why I don't try to help my people. You feel me? Like, I have to do something. Something has to be done, right? It has to be done. You know what I'm saying? And me coming on the scene, I already know when I'm going to attack. I'm not gonna do the bare normals that these people is attacking. I'm not doing that because that's the minute of the issue. I know what the issue is. You guys know what the issue is. You guys know that. You understand? But when you not in that position, you saying and you knowing the issue is literally falling into deaf ears, right? We are consumeristic people, right? We follow trends. We follow trends. We don't we follow trends. We don't how can I say this? We don't stand on morals and principles anymore. All that energy went out the window. Everything that we standing on now is just pure fellowship. Like, like fellowship, I call it fellowship. Like, we just follow wherever the ship goes. So if the ship is going left and this is what it is, this is what we follow. And it shows. We're seeing it. We're feeling it. And our children is being affected behind it. You understand? This is why I'm saying the things that I'm saying. We raising badass children, and it's because we have become badass people. We have become inhumane people. We get a thrill out of hearing black people being unalive. We get a thrill out of hearing black people mocking the dead, doing things that we have never done. You know what I'm saying? Things that's not even in our DNA. We are doing that. You understand? And because of that, this is why society's in the condition that it's in. This is why the hood is in the condition that it's in. We are creating this negative energy, right? These people are producing the product, but we have the option to say, nah, I'm good. I don't want that. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to eat that. You have the option to do that. There's not a single weapon to your head that says if you don't eat this, you can't come outside. There's not. But when you are suffering from an overdose of dopamine, yes, that's the issue. We have overdose of dopamine. We are living in the dopamine era. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Give me a second. My bad, bro. My AT&T called me. I gotta pay my phone bill. Something happened to my card, so my account was put on pause. So hopefully these people, the pause and everything is situated where I can just pay these bills. You know what I'm saying? But you said the king, like people liking the King James Bible without even knowing who. Listen, look. Let me give you some understanding about, the King James, right? Again, you know, everybody base their understanding on what they see. Like I said, when you have a smartphone and you have the internet and it's easy access, right? You don't have to go to the library, sit down and give hours. You're talking about invest hours into the studyings, right? When you don't have to do that, it's easy for people to be mentally, physically, spiritually manipulated, right? So for King James, right? King James, everybody's saying, yeah, King James is a black man, right? We're gonna touch on that just a little bit, right? Everybody says King James is a black man, right? And he reigned for this time and that time, right? And he sat down with the best writers in 1606, right? Check this out. I'm gonna give you guys some wisdom. He sat down with the best writers in 1606, and the objective was to compile a Bible to be put together to be given unto the masses, right? Now, these black people, right, mainly these so-called Hebrew Israelites, will say he was a black man, he reigned for 3 things, and he put the Bible together because he knew what was going to happen, etc., etc. Okay, cool. That sounds good, right? But when you do your thorough studies, right, you will see the ship called Jesus of Lebec, excuse me. Jesus, the ship of Lebec, was bought in 15 something. I forgot the exact name, but it was bought in 15 something by the Queen of England. Now, 15 something, King James is still alive, which means that King James had his hands in your enslavement. You thinking that I'm lying? Here in the United States, on the shores where the ships landed, North Carolina and Virginia, there's areas called Jamestown. That is not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. Okay? Was in Jamestown, right? So that right there just kills the whole King James being a black man, put the Bible for the black man to protect the black man and for preparation for what's to come. That is a lie. That is a lie. So, yeah, of course, listen, of course I'm going to be frozen. Every time, like I tell you, when you really know what's going on and you really talk that talk, the algorithm literally disrupts and corrupts the information. It is by design. Now, again, so let me go back to what I was saying, right? Now, for those that's saying that King James is a black man, right? Now, when you read the King James, right, he says in the original 1611 documents, he says something for the children of Israel. This man is he is a child of Israel because the Israels are not people of color. Say this all the time. You know, we force ourselves to act like he's somebody black because these, you know, when you're black and you don't have an identity, you try to cleave onto anything that's going to give you some level of acceptance, right? You want to claim something that makes you feel more than just a homeborn slave, because that's just what you are. You are a homeborn slave here in America, right? So brothers try to run to something that makes them feel powerful, right? Now, the only way you can feel powerful is by being believing into an imaginary story, claiming to be imaginary people, because the book is an imaginary book, right? And you can't get demonized for the imaginary book right now, right? But you can't get demonized for the imaginary book. But at the same time, this imaginary book is the reason why we are suffering, right? So back to King James. They say King James is a black man. Okay, cool. Appreciate that. But if he's a black man and he represents black people, why was the ship of Jesus with the man, what was it, Hendrick something? Why was this man, man, bro, I'm gonna call you back, my guy. You know, why was this man, this man that's, my man's throwing me off, bro. So, back to what I was saying. If King James is this black man, then why was Queen Elizabeth the one that purchased the very first ship called the Ship of Jesus that made it to the west shores of Africa? This was in 1500s, right? So this was in the 1500s. King James put together the Bible in 1606. He sat down with individuals, and in 1611 it was printed. It was authorized. He was still alive. So you're telling me that King James, a black man, purchased ships that was on the west shores of Africa, and the objective was to bring slaves to the Western world. Now, not only was he bringing people to the Western world, this man also had his community. Yeah, it was that ship. It's called the ship. The ship is the Jesus of Lebec. It's called the Ship of Jesus of Lebec. So again, if King James is a black man, why was Queen Elizabeth the one funding that ship? And that ship was the ship that brought Africans to the shores of the Western world. Why is the areas of those shores of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, why are those shores called Jamestown? You know why? Because King James was never a black man. He was one of them. Whoever gave you this black man story is the biggest compulsive lie you could ever find on the face of this earth. I broke this down numerous times. And for those that's going to disagree and going to argue and want to say, well, look at the picture. Look at the picture. Please, I want everybody to look at that picture and look at it thoroughly. Tell me if he's a black man. Why is a black man having a pointy nose? Cool. Why is a black man having a Caesar haircut? The Caesar haircut was not introduced to black people until slavery. So why does he have a Caesar haircut? According to the Bible, you're not supposed to cut your hair. You're supposed to let your hair grow. You're supposed to have dreads or whatever. You're not supposed to cut your hair. But here he is with a full-fledged haircut. So somebody explain that to me. Okay, cool. And then the icing on the cake is this. If King James is a black man and you guys are claiming he's black, where's his black family? How come there's no image of his black mother, his black father? He didn't have no brothers. He didn't have no sisters. He didn't have no cousins. He didn't have nobody, just him. Exactly. You got to call it for what it is. You see, like I said, the number one thing about religions is playing off people's ignorance. I'm a plague off your ignorance. If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to play it off until I get you a part of my web, right? Get you part of my web, get you part of my control, because that's what it is. Religion is control. Religion is control. It's different fractions, and they get a different percentage. Remember, fractions is percentage. When you break down a fraction, you get a percentage. So it's a different fraction, and they receive a different percentage. Pay attention, man. Everything goes hand in hand, guys. Like I tell you, man, this is universal law. Everything got to go in line with the universe. The reason why we are in these situations, because we have been disconnected from the solar universe. We have allowed our soul to be suppressed, and we have been told to live through the spirit. Everywhere in religion, they tell you gotta have the spirit, man. You gotta have the spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit. That's by design. Because if I operate in the spirit, you're gonna want a deity. You want a divine entity to take control of something that you was born to have control over. That was your soul. You are connected to the solar universe. When you die, you go back to the soil. You get what I'm saying? All of this goes hand in hand. Why do you think when somebody dies, it rains? Because the person's going back into the soil, and the water is to plant that body in preparation for its so-called return. Now, I don't know too much about the afterlife and reincarnation. That is not my space. That is not my space. I'm not even trying to engage it until the ancestors give me the okay or tell me this is what I need to do. If the creators and the ancestors don't give me that, I don't engage into that. Anybody that's able to, shout out to you. But I'm just telling you how things must be unified through unity of the solar universe. Okay? And once something is out of order, the whole world is gonna be out of order, right? If the sun don't work, if the sun and the moon is not doing their position, the earth is going to suffer. You see the world suffering right now, and the world is suffering right now because we are out of order. You feel me? We are out of order. That's exactly what you see going on. We are out of order. The world is in shambles right now because the people that's running the world was never meant to run the world. The reason why they remain running the world is because they gave you a story of Jesus for you to oblige by. You know what I'm saying? So when you call on their gods and you believe and you follow their practices, what you think is going to happen? You're going to get the short end of the stick. This is why they're reigning supreme. Ever since these Hebrew Israelite niggas started coming out with this ideology. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Ever since they came out with this ideology, you see the people, you see the four-letter peoples reigning supreme. They running everything. Once upon a time, it was just a handful of them. Now it's a multitude of them. Now they're buying up the communities. Now they're talking with confidence. Now they wish you would pop off because they got everything. They running everything. They running the legal system. They funding the prison system. Everything. They the lawyers. They the judges. They everything. They everything. How did they get there? You got them there. You made them go there. People don't know that. Who was Jesus? Who was Jesus? What was Jesus' nationality? What was Jesus' rise to fame? Who was he is? He was a Jew, right? Come on. Yeah. Put the pieces together. It's really not rocket science once you put the pieces together. Once you take the veil off, right? Once you take the veil off and you analyze it from the outskirts, we're so programmed to be in it. We're so focused on being in it. You have to take yourself out. Have to take yourself out, and then you have to analyze everything that's around you. But it starts with yourself. This is why I always tell people with the life coaching, the number one thing that I stress the most is self-evaluation. You have to evaluate yourself. You can't keep saying people is doing wrong to me. People did this to me. People did that to me. What is it about you? What is it about you that's giving the people the green light to do wrong to you? There's something about you. So you have to evaluate yourself. And sometimes that evaluation may hurt. But tears, pain comes to soothing. It starts with pain, and then it becomes It becomes tolerable. From the tolerable, then you find the proper procedures, aka medications, whether it's spiritually, physically, or mentally, to then fix the issue, right? We don't put band-aids. In my program, we don't put band-aids on the problem. We get surgical with it. I repeat, we do not put band-aids on the problem. This is what these psychologists do. This is what these institutions do. This is what these programs do. I don't do that. My job is to get to the root of the problem so we can be surgical. And sometimes with the surgery might lead to some level of amputation. Some of you guys need to be amputated. And I'm not saying this in a harsh way. I'm saying this metaphorically. Some of you guys need to be amputated because some of you guys' trauma is so detrimental that it's preventing you from getting to the next to the next chapter. Right? And what I mean by amputated, I'm talking like maybe your wife got to be removed. Maybe your husband got to be removed. Maybe your mother did such a horrendous job that you got to get away from that. You have to be able to pinpoint the issues because everybody got an issue, but nobody wants to address the issue because how can you address it when you're not evaluating yourself? You see, I evaluate myself all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm never ashamed to say I'm sorry. I'm never ashamed to say that I'm wrong. I come on these platforms and be like, yo, my bad, bro. I was teaching you guys this. It was never that. I was just on that journey. I'm always going to do that. True word. My phone just went off because that is the evaluation. This is the process of what it takes to become a man, right? This is how you become a wise man. This is how you become an elder. This is how, when you get a beard full of gray hair, people come to you for wisdom. It happens when you do stuff like that. You feel me? This is facts, people. These are the necessary things. Yeah, everybody got different realities. And like I said earlier, you see, you wasn't on the live earlier. But like I said earlier, one of the main issues that we having as black people is everybody is doing the same thing. Not everybody was made to be a rapper, bro. Not everybody was put on this earth to be a trapper, an actor, a basketball player. Not everybody was made to be on that space, bro. You have to find your purpose. Your purpose will only come with self-evaluation. Because when you're chasing the Joneses, remember, let me tell you this. I'm going to give you another metaphor. The Joneses was always detrimental to black people. Jim Jones, you see what he did in Grenada. Charles C. Jones, you see what he did to us in America. The Joneses, the Dow Jones, that was the owner of your enslavement. Like, we have to wake up, okay? When you stop chasing that and you start evaluating yourself, you start to pinpoint the things like, oh, wait, hold on, damn. Yeah, I like playing basketball, but I'm also great in being a artist. Like, I know how to draw. I could close my eyes and draw something. That is your calling. Or, damn, I love playing basketball, but something keeps navigating me to help people. I wanted to play ball. I could play ball. I wanted to rap. I could rap. I write songs. I write poetry. I wrote novels. I did everything. I could do all of that. But it was never... something never made me go to that next level. You know why? Because it wasn't meant for me to do. We're trying to make a hobby a reality. Your hobby is not your reality. It's just a hobby. Now, some people hit the money and their hobbies become their livelihood. Their hobbies become a profession. Their hobbies is able to make money, take care of their family. Shout out to them. But not everybody has the same hobbies. Some of you guys was created to be lawyers. Some of you guys was created to be doctors. Some of you guys was created to be garbage men. Some of you guys was created to be the homeless man on the corner to provide wisdom to these young bucks. Somebody was here for something. You have to find that. You're not going to find that until you evaluate yourself. Because if you're chasing everything that everybody else is doing, you're going to have a rude awakening. This is why you see people that invested their entire life into basketball don't make it into the NBA. What do they become to society? They become unproductive people. They end up picking up on habits. They end up being depressed. They end up being angry. They end up not wanting to live. They don't know their purpose. You know why? Because the entire time they was not evaluating themselves. And the sad thing is there's still opportunity and time for brothers and sisters to evaluate yourself and get yourself to the next level. As long as you're able to open your eyes, that means you have the power to strive. Okay? That's what goes on the life coach. This is what I stand on. When I hear to put band-aids on wounds. That's you lead. If you want band-aids on wounds, if you want that feel good, you want that woo rah rah, you can go to church for that. You want that woo rah rah, you can go to these seminars, you can go to these AAA meetings. You know what I'm saying? You can go to those meetings. But if you really want to be a better person, you really want to be a better husband, better wife, you really want to be a better child, you really want to just get right, you really want to just be a productive person in society, dealing with me, we're going to touch on a lot of things. I will ask you some questions. I will ask you, well, have you ever been SA'd before? You know, when I hear girls say I have commitment issues, I have trust issues. I always ask those questions. And every time I get that, yeah, I was. Yeah, my cousin was. And because of that, I don't even let my son even be in other people's spaces, bro. No disrespect. Because this world is wicked now. You know. So these are the things that go along with the life coach. You know, like I said, once I get 100 members to join the membership, that's when I'm gonna start giving you guys these type of lives. Right? I'm gonna give you guys these type of knowledge and wisdom. Maybe I just need to start doing that from the gate. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't talk about the religion stuff no more unless you ask. If you ask, I'm gonna give you the facts. But I really don't care for that anymore because I know that this was a tool created to divide and confuse. And if you're thinking what I'm saying is far-fetched and is not true, just look at the condition of your community. If you're a black man, I don't care where you at on the face of this earth. If you're a black man, you'll find 900 churches. 900 churches. You have 9,000 followers. You have 10,000 followers, investors, people that's giving thousands of dollars to these churches. But then you look at the community, something has to give. You tell me if I follow Jesus, I do this, I do that, I'll be a better person. If you're a better person, then the trees, you're supposed to be fruitful, right? Then the fruits that you present, you know what I'm saying, supposed to be manifested onto everybody. Everybody I see not eating fruits. Everybody I'm seeing is taking sweets, right? Sugar is another harsh thing that we got to get away from. I got to get away from that. We all got to do it. I'm also going to start doing the 3-day fast. For 3 days, we're not eating nothing. The first day is going to be no food. 24 hours. The second day is going to be little dips of water. And when I say little dips, I'm talking like capsules. You see the cap, put it on top, just to put it on your tongue, pause. And then on the third day, it's no food again. No food. These are the things that, you know what I'm saying? These are the things that I want to do for the people, because like I said, we all could fix these issues, but we got to be man enough to fix ourselves. We got to be man enough to say, man, I am imperfect. I am a F up. I am a up. That's why I need somebody to coach my life, because I am a mess up. I've been messing up. I messed up my entire life. I messed up in school. I messed up at work. I messed up at home. I messed up my relationship. I messed up my friendship. I've just messed up. Right? Because once you start acknowledging that you messed up, guess what you're going to do? You're not going to want to take the drugs, because people that take drugs, people that drink, people that smoke are those that's trying to put a band-aid on their reality. We're not putting band-aids. Like I said, we're going straight to the jugular. That's how things is going to get fixed. Period. Drinking a smoothie. Got soursop. I don't got my ginger. I got to go buy ginger today. But these are the things that I'm drinking. This is my smoothie. I went from I was 210, went down to 190, went down to 180, dropped down to 175. I'm building myself back up. I'm trying to stay at 180, 185. I'm trying to stay in that range. You know what I'm saying? I was literally watching my muscles go down because I wasn't working out and doing that. All that is intentional. And I do these things so I could show you guys that my method works. My lady will tell you. Last summer, was it this summer or the summer before? I dropped all the way down to like 150, 145, bro. Facts. You wouldn't see it, but I dropped down to 150, 145. You could see it in my neck. My neck was mad skinny. My wings was like, you getting way too skinny. My mom's just like, Junior, you getting way too skinny. I don't like that. And then I looked in the mirror. I was like, damn, I don't like it neither. So what do you think I did? Put my weight back on. And I put my weight back on in less than 30 days. If I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, let the ancestors strike me twice. In less than 30 days. For 150, within 2 weeks, I was 167. Another 2 weeks, I was 183. Two weeks, 30 days. Because I know my body. I used to really be into and weightlifting, bodybuilding. I used to really be in that. My man came home from jail. My son was chiseled. I was like, nah, bro, I need all that. And he showed me, he gave me the routines, gave me the recipes, told me what you gotta eat, told me what you gotta drink. You know what I'm saying? You don't need the whey proteins and all that. You don't need none of that. You don't need none of that. You know what I'm saying? The reason why they're giving you guys weighted protein, powdered protein, is because the food that you're eating has no protein. You're eating processed food. You're eating lab created food. It's not organic. It's not natural. It's not from the universe. This is why you see us catching cancer. This is why you see us catching diseases. This is why you see us getting sick. Come on, man. The rabbit hole runs deep. This is chess, people. Everything is a frequency. Everything is a domino effect, bro. Everything. You understand? Everything. Even down to the way that I beard, you know what I'm saying? Like having gray hair. You're not supposed to have gray hair. You know what I'm saying? If you're young and you having gray hair, it's because you're lacking minerals. And every time you eat processed food, every time you eat bread, every time you eat a bagel or a bacon and all that, all you're doing is taking away the minerals because you're making your body work overtime. I'm gonna give you guys this one thing to do every time you open your eyes, every AM. We don't say good morning. There's nothing to be mourning. I'm happy to be alive. Okay? When you wake up in the AM, all right, brush your teeth, do whatever. Get yourself a bottle of water, warm bottle of water. Put a scoop put a scoop of get yourself a warm bottle of water and put a scoop of salt in there. Stir it up real nice. And get a bottle of water, but put it in a glass. Stir it up real nice and drink it. Do that every morning. Why I'm telling you to do that? Because they lied to you guys about salt. Your body needs salt. Remember, you're from the earth. Your body needs salt. The salt not only rejuvenates your heart, it cleanses your liver. And guess what else it do? It fix your bowel movements. You dealing with constipation? Take some salt. Once the constipation is removed and you take a dump, don't go eat. And if you do want to eat, make sure you intake fruits. Whether you drinking it or you chewing on it, pause. But you intake fruits. You intake fruits for the entire day. The entire day. When it's time for you to eat, you don't want to eat no chicken. You don't want to eat no red meat. You want to intake fish. The fish that we're eating now is contaminated. I get it. Tilapia, certain salmons, I get it. But fish is literally the only meat that doesn't take long for your body to digest, because fish is in an abundance. You was made to eat fish. That's why fish, you don't have to do nothing. You don't have to chop his head off or nothing for it to die. Once you take it out the water, give it a few minutes, kumbaya, that's your fish. You take the fish. Now you take it with some quinoa. No more rice. Let's put an end to rice. Rice is a genetically modified creation. These things came from the factory. There's no rice. Corn, factory. Carrots, factory. So you want to make you want to get yourself some you want to eat some collard greens. Try to intake greens. And I know a lot of you guys want the starch because you have been programmed to intake starch. So eat the quinoa. Potatoes is cool. But too much of it is not good for you. And because I say that is because potatoes, it has a lot of pharmaceutical things in it, right? You know, and even for the potatoes, right? If you into gaining weight and you want to put on muscles, eat smashed potatoes. That's what I used to do. I eat smashed potatoes, boiled potatoes, smash it up, and I took it with with ketchup, organic ketchup. You know, I'm giving you a little gems, Kyle. I'm giving you a little gem. You're gonna be swole in 2 weeks, you heard? 2 weeks, pimping. Take a little bit of that. You understand? So you be good. Eat you some fish, bro. Red snapper. You know what I'm saying? Red snapper and some wild salmon. All. Even for me, I was eating bad. You know what I'm saying? I had to get a colonic, and then I had to do another detox and flush everything out. And now that my body is where it needs to be, everything that I'm eating has to be in line with the universe, bro. I don't want to eat no more chicken. I don't want to eat no more. I'm not gonna eat no turkey. You know what I'm saying? I don't even celebrate Thanksgiving, but I'm not eating turkey. I don't even like turkey. Not gonna eat that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stay away from the beef. You know what I mean? Stay away from the steak. You know, these things, These things are hard for your body to process. Like it takes 3 days for your body to digest red meat. 3 days. Who wants red meat in your body for 3 days? And if you're thinking that I'm lying, finish eating red meat. Give it by the second day you pass gas, you're gonna kick up your entire house. This is facts. Not supposed to be intaking that. And another thing with the life coaching, we will touch on the diets. Like I could tell you 50 million things. If your diet is not in line, your frequency won't get in order. If I'm telling you, yo, you got to do this, but yeah, you feeding your dopamine, candy, chocolate, potato chips, coffee, all this shit that these people told you to take, you're not gonna be you're not gonna be on task. You're gonna feel like whatever is being told is unsuccessful. Diet. Like I got all my things, I got all my notes in this phone that I'm doing the live on, so I really can't show you. But diet. Facts. So later on tonight, I might come on again and I want to talk about the mother that got jumped. I'm gonna have to edit it, and when the children is being, I gotta edit it because YouTube is gonna flag me for that because it's an endangerment of children. Not only that is when you stop taking things like coffee, it makes you sick. Yeah, because your body is you're going through withdrawal. That's why your body's going through a withdrawal. Coffee is a drug, bro. The cocoa seed is related to the the cocaine seed. They brothers and sisters. One is just black and one is just white. They relatives. You see, you guys don't know this. Just like sugar, cocaine, all that. They relatives. They come from that same umbrella. Like how you get a mice and you get a rat? It's like that. They come from the same umbrella. Coffee is an addiction. Anything that's an addiction, let me say this. Anything that's an addiction to you, it was not meant for you to consume. Anything that creates an addiction for is not for you to consume because it's feeding your dopamine. And once it feeds your dopamine, you understand, once your dopamine is fed, it's hard to trigger that off, bro. The reason why people can't stop taking crack, the reason why people can't stop taking crystal meth, because that high goes strictly to the dopamine. Weed doesn't go to the dopamine. It's what happens after the weed is why people continue to smoke weed, right? When you get the munchies and you hungry, that what you're taking feeds the dopamine. Then now it's like, damn, bro, yeah. We just put you in a state of hypnosis. You be dizzy, like, oh, whoa. Crack, cocaine, you understand? Those things go straight to the dopamine. You be, ho, whoa, yo, ha. Right? Coffee. Oh, I need coffee to stay up. Yeah, it's cocaine. It's cocaine. Just what it is. It's cocaine. You feel me? That's why, I was never a coffee drinker. I bought these mushroom coffees, to taste it out. It was cool. But I don't have the urge for coffee because coffee was never, maybe when I was younger, my mom, because, I come from a Haitian household, so drinking coffee was normal for us. We drinking coffee, eating it with bread every day. You understand? So as I got older, it became, you say, yo, I used to hate those weird eating habits. Of course. I'm telling you, bro. That's what we do. weed is not a dopamine drug. If you take it accordingly, weed will elevate you. It will elevate whatever you thinking about, whatever you wanting to do. The weed, if you smoking good weed, natural weed, it will elevate you. But the problem with weed is once you become addicted, when I mean addicted because of that thrill. Hold on. Hello?
Hi, this is Eve from the Voice Activation Department. We're calling because your business is not appearing on the 5 major voice platforms.
I don't. Hello?
I just need to verify, are you?
Hello?
Yes?
I don't have a business. Can you stop calling my phone?
Alright, you don't own the life coach?
No, I don't. I keep telling you guys
so
this.
much, have a great day.
I do, but you know, I don't want these people bothering me. All scams. But yeah, that's what it is. We will elevate you. Oh man, I've been on this live way too long, man. But check this out, bro. I'm gonna come on later on, see what happens. I'm gonna run inside, knock this out, and then I'm gonna head to another spot. But yeah, that's my time, guys. You know how we operate, man. We outside all the time. No lies, no filters. Like I tell you guys all the time, I'm a certified life coach. This is what I do. As you can see, the person called, "Are you the life coach owner?" I'm like, "No, I don't have a business. Leave me alone." Right? And like I said, you want to join the membership, join, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Follow the life coach page. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on IG. If you're not following me on IG, bro, follow me on IG. I talk a lot on IG. You know what I'm saying? We at 28,000. We trying to reach 30K for the 2026. You know, we trying to get to 200,000 on the YouTube, and we trying to get to 20,000 on the TikTok. And I just redid my whole Rumble. I have a whole new Rumble page. Starting from scratch, you know what I'm saying? We stepping away from the repent or die aspect. You know, that title is no longer available. It's done for that. You know, ROD is a LLC. It is a legit business. And we're going to take it to the next level, man. You know, and when YouTube stops censoring my stuff and allow me to talk to the people, it's cool. But until then, tell a friend, we outside, man. Anytime, Kyle, you know you my guy, man. We gonna link up, bro. You be good out here, man. Hold your head, get some rest. I know you say you work the night shift, so you know, get your rest in. I appreciate you coming through, showing some love like you always do. You know you my moderator. It's only gonna get greater. I'ma holla.